Atheist inmates victory. Judge rules against forced religious rehab. In a landmark case, a West Virginia federal judge ruled that forcing an atheist inmate to partake in a religiously affiliated substance abuse program for parole eligibility infringed upon his rights, marking a significant victory for secular rights within the criminal justice system. The incarcerated individual, Andrew Miller, filed a lawsuit against the West Virginia state government last April, accusing it of enforcing Christianity on prisoners and disregarding his atheism. In a decision that underscored the constitutional implications of such mandate, Judge Joseph Goodwin wrote, quote, Mr. Miller forcing Mr. Miller to choose between two distinct but equally irreparable injuries. Miller was either to, quote, submit to government coercion and engage in religious exercise at odds with his own beliefs, or remain incarcerated until at least April 2025. Judge Goodwin subsequently requested a preliminary injunction to expunge completion of the religiously affiliated program from Miller's parole requirements. The case drew attention to many substance abuse programs' inherently religious nature, raising constitutional questions regarding their mandatory nature for inmates. In response to the ruling, Jeffrey T. Blackwell, litigation counsel for American Atheists, remarked, quote, without Andrew's willingness to take on this fight, West Virginia would continue to unconstitutionally impose religion on people in its corrections system. So, here is a very broad high level overview. Basically, there was this guy, he was an inmate in West Virginia, and he decided to because I believe he was a former addict, do a addiction program to and usually I'm no expert, right? But oftentimes doing an addiction program can improve your likelihood of getting parole and being able to get out of prison earlier, right? Serve less of your sentence and get paroled earlier. But so one of the only, I can't remember if it was the only or just one of the few programs that was available to him was Alcoholics Anonymous. And the problem with Alcoholics Anonymous is that it is explicitly infused with Christian practices and always has been. And there are versions of the Lord's Prayer that you have to do. I'll just read a little bit of the quote. The suit claimed that Miller encountered religious coercion in June 2021 when he entered the Pleasants County Correctional Facility. Miller was serving a 1 to 10-year sentence for breaking and entering. Substance was not a factor in his offense, but Miller was enrolled in the program because he is in recovery from addiction. He alleged the federally funded substance abuse treatment program, a requirement of his parole consideration, was infused with Christian practices, including Christian reading materials in mandated Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous meetings where the Serenity and Lord's Prayer are recited. Due to the religious elements of the program, Miller withdrew from it after 5 days. Before incarceration, he received secular treatment and maintained his sobriety for 4 years, according to his suit. And multiple courts have determined that step-based programs like Alcoholics Anonymous are religious-based because they are predicated on the existence of a belief in a higher power or God. Steps in these programs ask participants to turn their lives over to the care of God and encourages prayer to improve, quote, conscious contact with God. The big book, the foundational document of these programs, this is the most important part. Chapter 4, quote, we agnostics, wait, oh, because they use different programming. Basically, here's a quote. They tell atheists and agnostics that they are doomed to alcoholic death unless they seek him. The chapter characterizes non-believers as handicapped by obstinacy, sensitiveness, and unreasoning prejudice. So this guy was like, I don't want to participate in this. This is explicitly religious. I've been in treatment for 4 years. I've been sober for 4 years doing secular treatment programs. And it's a requirement of my parole eligibility that I partake in this program. But if I do partake in this program, this is a violation of my rights because you're forcing me to engage in forms of religious practice that I don't want to be a part of. And so what? You're forcing me to go against my beliefs or stay in jail for longer. I can be jailed for longer or be forced into Christian practice when it's supposed to be a recovery, addiction recovery setting, which should be like a healthcare setting. But this is the only program that's available to me. And so they fought it. And the good news is that this guy won.
Amazing. Good job. You've done it. You've done everyone a service. You have set a precedent. Oh,
Yeah.
look, and the Thinking Atheist is saying, you want to read this?
Yeah, let me read this response from Seth Andrews. He'd say, I'd never tell someone not to use a program that's working for them, but Alcoholics Anonymous tragically uses a higher power model that insists that solutions must come from without and not from within. This robs people of their agency and it distracts from real world solutions, excuse me. And then someone replied to Seth Andrews saying, I believe it actually diminishes the achievement for the sufferer, that they are unable to do it on their own. Yeah. So I can't find the comment in the live chat from D, but she was basically saying, like, yeah, here we go. Tons of US atheist organizations are celebrating this. We needed a win. True. Yeah.
Yes.
I can't
Also,
remember
this
if
comment.
go. What
Yeah.
was it? Oh yeah. Someone replied on Twitter, thanks for your they replied to American Atheists because they American Atheists were directly involved in the litigation of this guy's case. Wait, scroll down, you took it away from me. Thanks for your great work on this. This is one of the most egregious violations of the separation of church and state, and no one should remain imprisoned for refusing to participate in religious activities.
Awesome. Yeah, we did need to win like this because sometimes we see so many things being taken away because there's not enough support for organizations like American Atheist, religion, Freedom from Religion Foundation, and other organizations. So you can see, like, when they have your backing, they do good work. So please support these organizations as much as you can. So,
and by the way, shouts out to anyone in recovery right now. If you're working on your sobriety, if you have been sober, I am so proud of you. That is a major achievement. Shout, and it maybe you're not completely sober, but you're working on it. I'm proud of you. That's really hard.
Yeah.